Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Download Queue, episode 63, where your new favorite weekly place for all things video games. Except this week, we're purely a Nintendo podcast. We're right in that view train, baby. Busy week with all things Nintendo Switch 2, both in good and bad, that we'll be diving into this episode, as well as some other smaller things along the way. Before we get to that, it's Saturday. We're recording on a weird day. I like it though. Sun's out. Beautiful. Beautiful summertime, Kyle. How are you doing?
Good, good. Yeah, it sun's out, so my office is hot. Thank you. Really love it.
Nice.
No, yeah, I'm about to be driving up to Washington State to deal. My wife has some family friend stuff going on that we're gonna go be up there present for. So super fun. So we're recording today, but spent the last 2 days have been running around and doing some stuff. Uh, Kind of watching, keeping up with the Switch stuff. So through getting all stuff ready and kind of logistical things and simple things, I've been listening to people talk about this Switch 2 and seeing the ebb and flow of, hey, it's here, yay, and oh, wait, the world is the world. We have reality still to address. But outside of that, it's been a great week, playing some games, doing some stuff. Good time.
Good. Good, good. Are you at least like the nice, beautiful area of Washington? Do you get to see the
It'll be
sights?
around Portland. So
Okay.
we'll hover around the border, Portland and Vancouver, so both Oregon and Washington.
Nice.
So you got friends and family on both sides. Yeah, I lived up there for a little bit with her, so I love that area. One thing, California is green right now because it's spring, so I love it. But California does not stay green. SoCal does not stay green year round.
That's
It'll
because
be
it's on
another
fire
month.
half the year.
Yeah, and then it's on fire because it's so dry and brown and dead, and then it just burns. Yeah, so it's all green, so that's nice. But I love going up to places that have seasons and have color, and green is just so nice and lush. So I'm excited to go hiking around, maybe make the trek up to Seattle and bang on Bungie's door and be like, let me play Marathon. Let me go see the stuff. Invite me to the 50th anniversary thing, Microsoft. You don't know me, but you could still do it. You like how I sprinkled in what we're going to talk about?
That's good. That's good. If you just barge in during their meetings and start shouting things, they'll let you in. That's how that works.
Oh, yeah. You get that right away.
uh Again, this is Dalek. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm excited for this episode. This is our, not counting the PS5 Pro, because that's its own thing, right? Not counting that, this is our like first console launch we're going through on the show. So it's gonna be
True.
a learning time, a growing time, an exciting time. Me being caught up in the hype as I am for literally the smallest thing. I was at an all-time high beginning of the week, Kyle. We talked about it last week. We went over predictions. God, were we wrong? Still, still good going in. I'm gonna start with the Switch
Yeah.
2. We'll get to the other stuff after, because the Switch 2 is gonna show up the rest of the episode of how this is gonna roll out. Wednesday morning, big reveal direct, 7 a.m. I was streaming live here. If you tuned in, I apologize, because I feel like I went through the 7 stages of grief during that showcase. But it's here. It is. I mean, this is what people, for the most part, were expecting, both from leaks, both from how Nintendo does things. Um, at the time of the direct, we got a June 5th release date, with pre-orders set to go live this coming Wednesday. That has since changed. We'll get to that later. For retail price of $450. Little high, but again, with the world and tariffs, kind of expected. Um, that, I think I mentioned it last week. The 450 was about the most of my end of what I was willing to go in on this, with the hope that the Switch would be a more daily use for me. I mentioned before how mine just collects dust now. I would like it to be a more daily used console, but yet to be seen. We are
Yeah.
sitting at 1080p screen or connected TV and play in up to 4K resolution. There is support for HDR, VR, and frame rates up to 120 FPS, which is very shocking to me. top level, how are you feeling about the console itself?
I'm feeling pretty
What
good
they
about the
got?
Kyle.
I'm feeling good about the Kyle. $450 for the
Uh,
Kyle.
yeah, Jesus, there's more than that. Come on, I'm not that cheap. You're gonna derail this whole thing. How dare you? um, no, I mean it's exactly what we thought, right? Or not exactly what we thought, but not a lot of surprises. Nothing that I think people will go, "Whoa, crazy!" It's just more if you're paying attention to rumors, paying attention to leaks like we are. You really got a lot out of you. You really knew a lot of what the technical stuff is. The C button, of course, it's I had a cool idea. It changes every game and whatnot, but no, it's just for voice chat and their Discord like function, which makes a lot of sense. This feels like just the Switch Pro. This feels like a definitive. This is what the Switch console is, right? They obviously added the new mouse function, which apparently videos and people who went hands on works incredibly well. And it's just take it off, it works like a mouse. You take it up, it's a Joy-Con again. Like that's really cool, right? The tech that they have just works. It sounds like to me, this is like a Switch Pro. Number two, you're trying to sell it. Like you put a 2 on there to make sure, hey, you got to buy this. There's games that will not be cross-platform. Like the new Mario Kart is only on Switch 2, so you got to buy the console. It just is a interesting device that is coming out at an unfortunate time for Nintendo because of all the world stuff going on. But the Direct, great, even before price and even before all the other stuff that comes out with the game prices and whatnot. It's just like, I don't know. I just felt solid about it, but I don't. If I was obviously, if I had the money, I would be pre-ordering and buying it probably because obviously, why not? But I don't know if you're on a budget and you're trying to think like, do I need to? I don't think this is a necessary thing to pick up right away. The price of $450 and the bundle $500 for Mario Kart included. That pricing says we want you to pay $500 for our console. That's what it's telling me, as opposed to like, oh, it's only $450. So it's just in an interesting spot. Like I said, I think this just feels like the definitive Switch console, and I don't think there's obviously they can add an OLED screen and make it a little better, but this thing's already doing 120 FPS for certain games. 4K 60 for some stuff on a dock. Like what else? I mean, yeah, you can have more, but this brings it up to this makes a Nintendo console on par with modern consoles, and I think that's all you can ask for. But yeah, I'm just like, cool. A Switch 2, yeah, awesome. That's my overall thoughts.
Yeah, I think the Switch Pro remark is probably the best way for it to go because traditionally we think even just from Wii U to Switch, Nintendo, especially Nintendo, is usually super strong on what the hardware actually is, what the changes are they can market and sell, which we have the things you mentioned, the mouse mode, things like that are here, but it's not as drastic of a change as what could have been traditional Nintendo, I feel. So the Switch Pro is a good remark on it. Yeah, things like the OLED screen, I even thought to myself, I'm like, do I just wait the year and a half for that to come out? Because we know it's coming. Like it's in the
It's
pipeline.
Yeah, and I will say, like, now this will be back and forth from structured to kind of just open conversation.
Yeah.
But having seen, I think Logan Plant specifically at Polygon was the guy who did that. If I got that wrong, apologies. But someone was able to play. They brought their Switch OLED and they were playing Mario Kart above the Switch 2, which was playing Mario Kart World, and the colors looked pretty good on a camera. Watching just recording those two devices next to each other as they played those games. The HDR in Switch 2 does look good enough. So even though the Switch 2 does not have an OLED screen for those brighter and more contrast colors to pop, especially with Nintendo's art style, it seems like they figured out how to leverage HDR and kind of force the color grading just to actually look really sharp and pop. So it's an LCD screen, but it seems like that's not going to be the biggest drawback. So will they do an OLED? Probably. Why not double dip? But who knows? Maybe people are like, oh, this is actually better just to do a cheaper screen and you actually can still get close to it. Who knows? I haven't gone that deep.
I think came across a video too, and yeah, I'm curious what that would look like when you compare it to non-Nintendo stuff. Because
Mhm.
with how Nintendo games are being as bright and colorful and as cartoony as they are, I feel like they could probably get a pass with that. But when you compare Street Fighter 6 on it. How different is that from why fuck, there's not even an OLED. I'm trying to think of what in like a TV OLED, but that's not a fair comparison because size difference. So yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
The screen too, I have on screen here is about 1.5 inches bigger, 7.9 inches this time around. Same thickness for the console itself, so that has not changed. Um, some things I'm really happy about. They did announce all old controllers, Joy-Cons, Pro controllers, stuff like that are compatible with Switch 2, which fantastic because a set of Joy-Cons is $90 on this, which holy crap. Um, I did notice, I don't know if you've looked at all on store pages, you can buy them separate now though. If you just want to drop $45, you can buy just to left or just to right. So, whatever works for you. Um, Better speakers are also on here with 3D audio with headphones. Has the built-in microphone for the chat function mentioned earlier. Um, there is now a port on top of the console, which I'm a big fan of for charging instead of just being on the bottom where you plug into the dock. There's one on top now to do wall charging if you have it in stand mode or on a tabletop or something like that. Big fan of that, especially because after the fact they did not have this in the presentation. I've seen battery life on this is anywhere from 2 to 6 hours, 6.5 hours, which is wild to me because that is a huge step down from Switch 1, which, again, with what it's running inside, kind of makes sense, but hearing
Yeah,
those numbers is wild.
from their website, all the tech specs, it does say approximately 2 to 6.5 hours. So that is from their website. Those are the numbers, which that's crazy. Obviously, it depends on the game, but even just 6 hours, like 2 hours, like if you're playing like Metroid Prime 4 on a plane and you get barely 2 hours worth, it's like, oh, all right. A bummer. Battery life is always going to be an issue for these handhelds, though, and you know, how much do we want? They have $700, $800 console, and 500 is the battery because it's lasts forever. Who knows? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, my Switch now, when I've started using it more this past couple of weeks, obviously. But even before, I've probably played it docked to a TV maybe 5 times than the entire time
Oh
this
yeah.
thing has been out. Like, it's purely been a handheld for me. So getting that, I'm like, that's kind of that's kind of crappy. Again, another reason when the OLED comes out, assume a better battery in that because they'll upgrade it a little bit. But
Yeah. But
yeah,
this with the addition to the top port really does help. So then you can at least hold it and charge as opposed to having this cord dangle up below you. And you're like, all right. It's just a lot of quality of life stuff. It's like they just perfected the Switch system as opposed to making the console sequel.
like a Switch Pro,
Yeah, a Super Switch Pro.
Super
A
Switch Pro.
a Nintendo Super Switch would have been too cute and too hard to sell to people who may be like, oh, I don't need this. I already have a Switch.
And last thing here, storage has been upgraded from 32 gigabytes to 256, which I will be curious to see how that actually works out when you're getting games installed on this, because I think on mine now I have 5, maybe 4, and I'm maxed out already on my original Switch. So I'll take the
Do you put a
256.
card in there? Or are you base storage? Like,
I have some on card. I think my digitals are
okay.
Animal Crossing and like Smash.
Oh, what I mean is, do you have a SD card in your Switch? Or are you just using whatever
No,
storage
I'm
came
just
with it?
base storage.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
They also do have specific SD cards. So if you don't have a micro SD Express card, those SD cards will not work with the Switch 2 for some things. So there is disparity between that. So, but if you're that deep in using SD cards, you probably are aware, and it won't be too big of a hassle for you to get that.
Yeah. And then also with this upgrade, Switch 2, some games, select list of games, are getting free upgrades as far as frame rate and resolution natively. And then there is the list you've probably seen online of the paid upgrades for expansion stuff. Kirby's getting one, both Legend of Zeldas are getting one. That includes access to a new phone app because they're bringing it back to Dead Rising 3 on Xbox One. Stuff like that. It's I have they gotten a price on that? I missed prices on those because I was
On
expecting.
the game upgrades,
Yeah,
I haven't seen any. It's ridiculous that companies do that, but in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't seen anything. That's one of the big ones that people are like, all right, that along with $80 Mario Kart, $90 physical Mario Kart.
$90 controllers.
Yeah, for the game upgrade, like I think PlayStation has been consistent. I think they've only been 10 to 15. That's just off the top of the dome. Real quick, I can get behind that. Like if you had the PS4 Last of Us, $10, you can get the PS5 version of it. Cool. If Nintendo goes above $10 for that, that's where it really is shitty to me. $10, whatever. You know, only one company, Microsoft, is just letting you play a 360 game that is running in 4K 60 for free. You don't need Game Pass. You don't need to pay for anything, right? I just wish more companies did that. Unfortunately, this isn't a surprise from Nintendo. But again, if it's like more than $10 to play the up-res version of Tears of the Kingdom, that's just silly. I already bought the game. You're gonna charge it. I just can't. I don't want it more than $10.
The worth mentioning, if you're already curious about stuff that's getting a free upgrade, there is currently, I think, 12 games listed on that, very limited amount. Stuff like Pokemon Scarlet Violet, Link's Awakening, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Odyssey's on there. And it's a very small list. I don't know how much it's going to expand because it has come out since that they have pretty much built an emulator on Switch 2 for Switch 1 games because it does not share really anything internally. So it's emulating those games on the new console. But it looks good. I've seen they showcased on the Treehouse event like Breath of the Wild loading times, getting it now it's like 10 seconds faster, stuff like that. Frame drops, I mean, pretty much non-existent, especially places like Hyrule Forest. So worth checking out.
Good.
Again, it comes down to the price for those paid ones and what you're willing to spend. Because money and marketing and America.
Yep.
It's exciting. It's more than I was expecting. I fully thought this would be the one where cool, we're backwards compatible, but we're not really giving you upgrades like that. Nintendo, I don't think in my mind isn't one to really care about that. Yeah, they've offered backwards compatibility in the past, but it's never been giving you stuff like this. But that's just day and age where you can't do upgrades and have it natively run better just naturally on newer hardware, so that's a nice change. And that
Yeah,
pretty
it's that kind of explains why they may be charging because it's not something that everyone is doing, and they don't need to gain that goodwill. You know, it's not something that people are like, please, please. Some are, and some games are, but again, it's like the hardcore of the hardcore, which they're a family company.
family company with Bloodborne 2 as an exclusive.
Hey,
Hey,
not Bloodborne 2.
Not Bloodborne 2. But I think that pretty much covers most of the hardware stuff. I know they did I sent you last night DLSS
yeah.
upscaling stuff. Is that just pretty much
Yeah, I can talk about
covers the
that.
120 and 4K, right? Like it's not native?
Well, so let's go from the beginning here. So the GPU and CPU in the Switch is a custom CPU GPU made by NVIDIA. They are working with NVIDIA to make this chip and GPU set. And throughout it all, integrated within it is their AI and ray tracing stuff, such as their Tensor cores, which powers the DLSS, the deep learning super sampling and such. And then they're using these Tensor cores to face track, because we haven't talked about the voice chat, but you can buy a camera and it will let you put your face into Mario Party or into Mario Kart, and you could see up to 3 friends and you play games together and your face can be there. So what they're doing, just like what I'm doing right now, I'm gonna remove my background if you're watching the video. That's what they're doing on the Switch. So they just put NVIDIA Broadcast, so I have a black background, right? They just put NVIDIA Broadcast in the Switch to a degree, which is really, really, really fascinating. They do talk about ray tracing. There's like ray tracing and such like that. But again, they're getting 4K 60 frames. They're getting 1080, 120. That is 100%, in my opinion, behind the DLSS and the AI stuff, of course. which everyone predicted that that's how they're going to do that, and it's cool to see this tech in practice. I think they haven't really said a lot about it. It's just this one tech sheet that you gave me, but it's into nerdy stuff. Essentially, they're like, you want high res games? Cool. We're going to work with NVIDIA to make a handheld that can do that for us while still being able to do the stuff we as Nintendo want to do, like have a voice chat feature that is embedded in the console. No, we're not going to ask children to go download Discord. What? That's ridiculous. However, kids and families want to see their friends and see their other family members who are playing Switch. How do we do that? We're going to make a voice chat feature within itself. And because of these AI advancements with NVIDIA that can take the load off of hardware that has to physically like do the work, now it just uses AI to quickly kind of fill in the gaps and make it less intensive on your handheld. So a lot of cool tech behind the Switch again. But yeah, that's kind of what that. It's kind of my top level stuff on the NVIDIA partnership there.
Cool. Yeah, it's. I think game chat's the next spot to go into because that's, as you mentioned, a big part of that here, which was one of the. I mean, that's essentially one of the two big hardware changes in this, right? As mentioned, it's essentially Discord built into the console. They have it set up. So far, I've only seen 4 friends. I haven't seen a press release different if it's more than that. I would think not, because even in this trailer showing it, it is beyond laggy on the video side of things, which kudos to them for showing us how it's actually going to work in the trailer. But yeah, you're able to party up with 4 friends, different games, doesn't matter. So essentially, PlayStation,
It's
Xbox
called
party,
game chat.
game chat.
We
Essentially,
keep saying, I kept saying voice chat. Yeah.
oh yeah, essentially party chats that we've had on Xbox and PlayStation for 10 plus years now that have finally made their way over with limited to 4 people. But it does have things. It said you could have just the camera focus on you, remove your background, to have like a green screen essentially behind you of the game you're playing. Across different games, you don't have to be playing the same game to participate in this. The Switch has a built-in microphone on top, which also has some sort of noise canceling features in there. I'm curious to see how that works because they, in this trailer right here, we're gonna run a blender and it's gonna immediately cut that out and be just as clear. We'll see about
And
that.
again, this is what NVIDIA Broadcast does. This app that uses their AI stuff to eliminate noise. So I'm using it right now. Like it's NVIDIA's AI in my GPU is taking out the fan I have going, the clicks when I click my thing. That's just what's in the Switch. So like, will it work perfectly? God, no. Will it work to a degree? Yeah. Yeah, it will work to a degree, which is kind of crazy to think about. On their website, Game Chat is lets a group of up to 12 people chat while playing games.
12.
Up to 4 people. Up to 4 people can share their game screen or take part in video chat simultaneously. So yeah, you're only going to get the 4 screens down below to look at, but up to 12 people can play a game together. So we talked about it last week before the Switch about there's going to be some interesting parental stuff, and this is a kid's console, and this makes a lot of sense. It's their own proprietary thing where you can still have Nintendo's level of parental controls and security. They're in control of it, and that's just how voice chat will be for them, or game chat. So I dig it. I think it's cool. I like it's a fascinating thing, right? It feels like the game chat is in response to the streaming culture and everyone wanting to be able to stream and share your game, but that's not a bad thing too, right? I think there's definitely not something that it should sell is going to sell the system, but if it works to a certain degree where I can hop in and help my buddy's friend who's struggling with a part in a game, that's kind of cool, right? And that's just embedded in the system for kids to be able to use and families. I think that's a really, really awesome thing, albeit not something I am losing my head over and using, right? It's just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, it's, as I said, it sounds like they're chasing that streaming culture, the Discord culture. To me, when I saw this, the first thought in my mind was they saw a missed opportunity with the Switch 1, because if this would have been out 2020 with Animal Crossing and COVID, this would have been game changing for that system. And now we're getting it a couple years later, which is fine. I'm curious to
Again,
see,
for kids though too,
yeah,
families.
I'm curious to see how it holds up with people if they use it. They are giving people, you need to have NSO, Nintendo Switch Online, to use this. They're giving it free for everyone until March of next year, I think was the cutoff time to
March
test.
31st, 2026.
Cool. To test it out, try it out, see if you like it, just get it in people's hands essentially. Um yeah, I'm curious. I don't really have a lot to add, just being someone who I have no friends on Switch. Like that I'm I have 2 family members on my friends list, like, this is something I'll never use. So I would be curious to see people who are more in the ecosystem if it becomes the norm, because now we could look at it and be, "Oh, it's a weird thing they're tacking on there," but it could grow into something bigger, we don't know.
Yeah,
Um
I think it's like when the Switch came out, it was so revolutionary to take that stand, put it on a table, hand the Joy-Con to your friend, and you're playing Mario Kart at the rooftop party, right?
Mhm.
It's something like that. Like it'll be fun to try and do, and especially like families like not in the same house being able to play like Switch sports together and different games like that. That's really cool, right? I love the Wii bowling and all the Wii sports in the living room. We have to move our living room small enough where we had to move the couches, so it became like an event almost, right? Like you had to like choose to play this. And that's like a really cool thing. And same thing with Connect. And we lost those type of games. So I hope at the very least, this would be awesome if we got kind of a return of these more not gimmicky. What am I? Not physical based games, but I guess that's what I kind of am saying, right? Is stuff that's more maybe group play focused and like gather around the TV and we're all playing this as opposed to I'm just gonna pick my Switch up and go alone now. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fascinating things they're doing here, and just will it land and what games are there for it? Is it just an extremely specific use case, or will people actually be like, oh wait, no, we actually will communities form around it and showcase, hey, there's a lot of cool things you can do with this game chat, whether you are playing with your kids or family or just alone, or you're all 30, 40 and you're adults loving the shit. Like, I hope it gets there, but a lot of, I don't know, feeling.
Yeah, I think the voice chat itself will be fine. The camera after the first year and a half, I could almost see that being phased out. Um, Even in the reveal, it was all first party stuff, obviously. In trying to get third party to develop just for that or add a feature in just for that, up in the air of how that goes. Um, the camera too, while we're here, is a $50 price if you want. But they do have, I wish I had it up. They have one that looks like a piranha plant, and that would be the one that would get me to buy one of these stupid little things because it looks so
I
good.
know. Also, it opens and closes, so you don't have to have a camera open at
Yeah,
all times in your room. So, like, go figure, right? A little piranha plant is safer.
looks so good.
Yeah, I appreciate that they're giving people about a year to play with game chat. It still is a bummer though, right? Like the fact that to be able to chat in the system to my friends, I have to pay the thing. Nintendo is not an online subscription that I feel like I need as of this moment. It's more of like specific use case, and even then, that's extremely limited, right? So we'll see. A lot of this now we're towing into the interesting decisions with the Switch 2 because that's one of them.
Yeah, and some of it here we talked about last week that I was hoping for with the voice chat stuff. There was no press release. There was no mention of how friends lists work. If that changes at all, if they're sticking with the long digit friend codes, like all that seems to be the same, which sucks, but the world we live in. Um, I'm curious to see how the friends list is actually integrated into the Switch UI with the game chat button because everything we've seen, the UI is essentially the same but faster. So where does that fit into a menu? Is it gonna bring you to its own separate whole page layout and jumping back and forth and navigating?
I
So
imagine it's that.
yeah,
It's just its own app essentially, right? And then it just kicks on when you're using it or whatnot. And it might always be quote on, right? So you can get notifications or whatnot. But
mhm.
yeah, I imagine it's a whole separate app that you go into and out of. And hopefully they fixed it and hopefully it's a little more modernized with adding friends and seeing who's online and whatnot. But yeah, if the UI we have seen is pretty much the same, I don't think they did an overhaul to the UI. Unfortunately, that's why. Yeah, it's just a lot of interesting decisions.
Yeah. Which that's, I mean, I bitched about it with Xbox too. Did the same thing. New hardware, Same hard UI, same layout. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
People are familiar
I
with
don't
it.
mind. The same UI is fine. It just doesn't feel like I opened something new, right? I turn on my Xbox, I'm like, oh, all right.
That's
Excitement over, the boot up screen's done. All right, and I never really see that boot up screen, so whatever. It's more like, because we know what the Switch One UI is, the friends list. Like, if that's the same, yeah, I don't think they really addressed it much. Except it's probably going to be in that app. So that's what I mean by that. I don't care if the UI is the same. Just let me customize it, have more than 2 themes. That'll be fine.
Well, when you get your Switch 2, June 5th.
Well, I'm not getting it June 5th.
The people, Kyle. Yeah, it's one of the first things you could jump into is a nice little tech demo Nintendo decided to make for you. One of the many, not even say me, one of the few, excuse me, game announcements we got during the showcase. Getting the actual software now. They saw the Astrobot model and they were like, "Yo, how can we mess this up? We're gonna give you
Okay, thank
Nintendo
you.
Switch 2 welcome tour." Which at its core, cool. This is essentially the Astrobot tech demo showing you what's different with the hardware, what changes have been made with the Joy-Cons, what all the console can do. Fun little tidbits to try out the new features. Like, it's the thing that should be included on every console as a paid digital download with no price yet announced, which was absolutely shocking. And this is where I turned the corner on one of my stages of grief on Wednesday when I was watching this.
Yeah, no, this is like, oh, cool. What a awesome thing to show your console, and like, oh my God, you're like a little person walking around the giant physical Switch 2 and you're inside and they have the motherboard. It's awesome. And then it's paid for, and people who've played it came out and said it could have been a PDF file. This is not, yeah. It's just confusing, right? Right off the board, you're like, oh, something to teach you to Switch, like Astrobot, kind of teach you some of the, and show off some of the cool haptic feedbacks in the dual sense, right? Like, you could, what the mouse do? Like, what else can I do with this? But apparently it's just really, really straightforward and just a big tech demo that isn't even included, which, yeah, blows my mind. I audibly laughed when I was watching it. I was like, what? Like, what? That's ridiculous. Like, I was so excited for this, and then instantly was like, oh, okay, I would never play this or buy it, because it's probably what, 30 to 50, and I think it's closer to 50 probably if we didn't have a price yet.
Full price.
Yeah.
Put it at full price.
It's an $80 game like Mario Kart World. It's even more valuable than Donkey Kong. Yeah, no, it's an interesting decision, right? Yeah. Cool idea, but definitely, when we saw it too, I was like, is this the MMO they're making?
I thought
You
that
can see a
too.
bunch of little people. I was like, no way. It's just a welcome game. And then, yeah, it went downhill from that thought.
People living inside their Switch, Animal Crossing style, wild.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but nope, just
it's such a step back because they've done this before with like the tech demo games. Like we had 1-2 Switch party game. You could actually use it as a game itself. We've had Nintendo Land on Wii U showing you the gamepad and all the different things you can do with it. And now it's, hey, we made a little museum with, I don't even want to call them mini games, right? Like Shake the Maraca.
it sounds like, based off people who went hands on, it sounds like if true to the full statement of a tech demo, right? So, and that's not a bad thing. But when, yeah, it's a paid only demo and you don't, or a paid for demo and thing, and you're not telling people the price right away, yeah, people, unfortunately, it looks and feels weird.
Starting off at the top, beginning of the show, Mario Kart World has an official name now. The first title we got 2 months ago now, that official one was. First game of revealed starts off in the exact same map as that first trailer, which I really appreciated to show kind of the transition into the new gameplay, which I'm 100% down for. This is Mario Kart Forza Horizon. This is an open world Mario Kart. All the tracks are connected in one seamless layout. Travel from one to the other in between Grand Prix races. There is a free roam to I would hope go out and explore and find collectibles. We've seen a bunch of skins and stuff for characters as other characters to use and not just skins. It's a whole separate option, which is weird. But I'm hoping that's how you unlock new carts or secret characters or whatever it be in the open world. Um, there's wall riding, there's grinding on rails, which is not what I expected. There is boats or the cars now seamlessly transition to planes and boats depending on where you're going instead of having the little glider thing. So kind of think use for some other stuff. Sonic or Sega Racers kind of did that a while back, but having it in Nintendo's wheelhouse now probably feel real good. I can't wait. I'm excited. It looks good. They got so many characters, Kyle. We got the cow. International meme everywhere I look. You could be a cow. You could be a dead fish. You could be every enemy essentially that's been in a map that doesn't have feet slash legs slash arms to be riding a car. But they're here. It's the Smash
I
Brothers Everyone's
care.
Here of Kart.
Yeah, I could care less that everyone's there. It's just happy that Waluigi still made it in, because he got left out of Smash Bros. And I don't know why. He's my main on Mario Kart. So I'm happy he was here. I was like, thank you. Thank you. Shut your mouth. I'm talking now. I don't want to hear your heat against Waluigi. He's
As
great.
a main?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't give me your. I play all the time, and I'm into the metagaming, and
Oh,
it's the
no, I
best
hate
because
those
you
people.
can. No, I'm playing Mario Kart, and it's fun. Shut up, everybody. Okay. Anyway, this is awesome. Yeah, Mario Kart World. That map too, where they show the logo, and you can see the roads that go to each zone on that big map, the different biomes and different areas. Bowser's lair. From the deserts to the Moo Moo Land area, the Mushroom Kingdom. It's awesome. We're going to be driving around. You're going to be driving around a Mushroom Kingdom that's hopefully fully realized. It's awesome. I expect this to be like Baby's first Forza Horizon game, Baby's first open world racing game, which is an awesome thing, right? I know they still have Grand Prix, which will just work like Forza, where they'll set the track either A to Z, that's the race, or it will be a circuit. Just a lot of potential with it. And it's just, where do you go from Mario Kart 8 when the sequel to Mario Kart 8 was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, right? Like, what do you do? How do you change it up? And this is because, yeah, that makes so much sense to make an open world, drive around. I love it. How close are we to a Mario open world now? That's awesome, right? Is this so many cool things they could do with it. Gameplay is going to be there. I know that. I don't think people should be expecting a deep racer, but yeah, I do expect that free roam mode will be like completing challenges, probably collecting stuff, probably doing jumps or whatnot. Maybe there's drift areas like Horizon, where then you go and unlock a different car, unlock the different skins. I think that makes a lot of sense for free roam, and it's cool.
I'm curious to see how.
Oh yeah, Knockout. We didn't even mention Knockout Tour, which is their battle royale or burnout style mode.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how the open world actually is on this.
Yeah.
And what I've seen so far, I tuned in some of the Treehouse stuff, and I've seen people mention how you said like it's a fully realized world, like, but then I look at Treehouse footage, and when you're doing the free roam, it just really looks empty. Um, Even when they're in like the city area, there's like Yoshi NPCs there, but they're all kind of stagnantly just standing in random spots, like they're not moving, which I know is dumb, but like that to me is like, oh, this is an actual place they're at doing things and living and whatever. But we just have stagnant people there staring off into space, which from the track probably looks fine because we're watching the race, but in free roam they're just there. It kind of takes me out of it a little bit. So I'm curious to see what that actually is and how much there is to do.
Yeah, going like when you load into free roam and then what are you doing from start to finish while you're in that mode? Yeah, that is it just wandering an empty map, going to X, collecting that thing. Oh, I see a glowy thing over there. Let me drive over there. Is that all it is? That might be a little lackluster, but yeah, that'll be a little more to see. I hope it's a little more. I hope at least it's fun to drive, or it's just like, all right, this is something I do just to drive around and not It's not like this isn't the mode that I'm going to spend 90% of my time in. This is just a fun ancillary thing to kind of play in the world and see the map and whatnot. Do you think they would let people make their own routes if the world is truly like kind of like Forza, right? Where maybe not as in depth connected wise and whatnot, but if it's up there for a Nintendo game, right? Do you think they would have creation stuff for people to make their own maps, not maps, but race tracks that then they can upload and people can hop in and race as well? I know Forza does that.
Yeah, you would hope so. I don't think if they do, it's going to be anything more than like pick the tracks from a list and it'll automatically make the route for you type thing. Like it'll be that very top level if it is.
Yeah.
But that opens up to there's going to be DLC for this, right? Like there has to be. I think right now there's 28 courses, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. And there's some staples, like there's not a Rainbow Road yet. Which is wild. Like it's not there's an image from the treehouse where they brought out the map and it's got like the little icons for each of the routes. And there was no Rainbow Road related thing, so obviously that's gonna be added. More characters you would assume. Carts they did change this time too, instead of picking parts like you did in 8. When you pick your vehicle, it's just that stock. You can't change the wheels out. All that's just one thing now, which to your joke you made earlier about people min-maxing the experience, like I'm down for, because it is. I've tried to play it online, and it's, oh, you need to play this weight class with these wheels and this cart to get the best, and oh, if you jump off the course at this angle, you could just get the second lap right away. And that's how people openly play this. Like, I want to have fun. I want to race. I'm not trying to world first race you to the fastest time casually on my couch. Like,
yeah, whenever I play with someone new and like I pay and they're like, oh yeah, no, I use this one and this, and so you're not using those wheels. I'm like, all right. I'm like, you're gonna win and you're gonna love that you won, and I can't wait to be there for you and be like, yeah.
Kudos. Mario Kart World launch day title for the Switch 2, which solid. I think that is probably the best choice they could have done out of the games they announced at this showing to be the launch game. Coming off Switch with Breath of the Wild being the launch title there. I think Mario Kart's the next biggest thing they have outside of a 3D Mario to put in this spot. Which you won't have long to wait, because a month later, in July, we're getting Donkey Kong Bonanza. Yeah, I'm optimistic. When they first showed this trailer, I deadass thought they were leaving us off with the Yooka-Laylee Replay trailer announcement, because that's what this looked like. Like, it's got that rare aesthetic still, and all the random characters have big googly eyes again. Like, I was like, oh, they're just dropping us off with this. And then it's Donkey Kong. It is an open world 3D adventure Donkey Kong game. I would say in the style of Odyssey, it seems.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
This is the one I've missed out the most on as far as Treehouse stuff goes. So if you know more, please jump in. Very destructive oriented. You're punching through walls, punching through ground, digging tunnels. You pretty much have full control of the map to find bananas, whatever you're collecting. There's chests, there's these new ore creatures that I'm sure we'll find out in the story, whatever they're about.
Yeah, well, the story is Donkey Kong's trying to get underground, and you got to dig deeper and deeper and deeper as you can go, and you find more things the deeper you go. I'm just scrolling through the website.
That's on the website? What?
Yeah, on his website, dude. The website for Donkey Kong also is insane. When you're scrolling down, all of a sudden it starts scrolling to the right because the whole page is like moving.
Oh,
it's a really busy website. It's what people want to know. But yeah, so it's something like he has to dig deeper. So these ore creatures, and each world seems to, you just keep going down, 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 and enter new zones and went through. So it's all, yeah, the big thing going through the website, a lot about destruction, like you mentioned. So a lot of it is breaking down things, which is going to be showing off all these nice little particles and the nice crisp, sweet Switch 2 screen and whatnot. But it definitely seems like it's just Donkey Kong Mario Odyssey, right? Donkey Kong, I feel like so many people have already said this, which is why I bring it up as well. But like, it seems like Nintendo is trying to build them up a little bit. Donkey Kong felt like a bigger property, and then now it doesn't. So I could see them. This just makes sense, and to pump the brakes on a Mario for a second if they're not ready yet. Like, so
Well, yeah, that's
it
the
looks
thing.
interesting, but it's not. It's not a type of game that I'm. Even a Mario, like I would have been happy for a 3D Mario announcement for my fantasy critic, but outside of that, like I'm not dying for a Nintendo platformer game. I'm still just not into those games fully. I'm trying. So it is interesting. I think it's smart to have this in Mario Kart. Similar, different, very specific things. Everyone's going to pick up the Mario Kart because why not? Well, maybe this gets them to try out a new Donkey Kong, and hopefully it's up there with a Mario Odyssey. Level of gameplay.
Yeah, well, that's the curious thing because with Nintendo, with their development studios, this could be the Odyssey team, right? Like this could be the thing they were doing.
Sure.
Because it was the rumor that everyone talked about of, oh, it's Mario Odyssey 2 with something Donkey Kong related. Maybe that
Or
was
it's
just
just
lost in
Donkey Kong.
translation where it's just Mario Odyssey with Donkey Kong. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's Mario. It's Donkey Kong Mario Odyssey, guys.
yeah. So
I was like Mario with Donkey Kong. No.
it's a weird thing.
Yeah, no. I mean, watching the gameplay right here, it's really interesting. Like him digging up the ground, being able to pick it up, jump on the rock, and have it spin like a blade. He's throwing it. I made a giant hole in the thing. A lot of interesting things going on, especially if it's like almost Minecrafty, where you can like destroy almost anything. Right? I don't expect every little thing can be destroyed. That'd be really impressive, but
it almost is everything. There's in the treehouse gameplay, they do a zoom out. I think you just hit the main menu and it does a zoom out of the area you're on. And very clearly there's a bottom level that's just flat, like almost Minecraft Bedrock thing that you can't go through. But from that menu, say you destroy a mountain and you missed a collectible on there, you can pop open the menu, hit a button, and it resets the entire world you're on to its default layout again, just at a moment's notice. So it's pretty much fully destructible to a point, and then yeah, if you mess up something or if there's a better way to get something, you can just reset the topography of everything and keep going, which is neat. Like I'm curious to see how that goes, like challenges, how stuff is hidden, what kind of mini games or whatever is to be around. Like that opens up a lot of possibilities, which is where my hope is for this because yeah, Donkey Kong. It's a hard. I want to say it's a hard sell, but we all kind of saw this coming with the redesign in Mario Kart 2 months ago. Like they're not going to do that just for Kart. They have bigger plans and ideas in mind.
Yeah, and it's not even like it's a hard sell. It just needs to be sold where Mario doesn't. I think that's the difference, right? But yeah, no, I mean, as you were talking, you were like, it's gonna be interesting, the puzzles and the collectibles, and he literally Donkey Kong. They have him throw a rock at a wall, breaks it open, and all of a sudden there's a chest hidden in the rock. So he breaks the chest down, and boom, he's collecting treasure. So yeah, gameplay like you're describing literally came up as you're talking about it. So I did not think I'd be this. I'm way more excited than I was before. I gotta watch these tree houses. I kind of forgot they do that. I did not watch the treehouse stuff, but I did not realize that's what this Donkey Kong game is going to be. And like watching it on stream right now, I'm literally just digging a cave by punching it and the rocks are disappearing. Like this is some like No Man's Sky type terrain stuff too, looking like it is awesome. They're like, look what our Switch 2 can do, everybody. We could like mess with terrain. Everything's interactable.
I'm curious too. I don't know if you've seen I forget what I think it was Korea advertisement for this has a different box art image. Where if you've seen it, it's Donkey Kong like punching in the ground, his little purple orb buddies on his back. In their image, the little purple guy is replaced by it looks like a younger Pauline. So people are like theory crafting now that this is like a way early prequel to everything when she's young before he kidnaps her, like whatever. So weird implications, but fun. I think this is
So Pauline from Mario Golf is the Donkey Kong character? She's not just like some random woman in Mario Golf?
Really? Yeah, no, Pauline.
I'm not kidding. Like
Pauline is the girl from the original Donkey Kong where you're Mario jumping up the
Oh my, that's
That's
Pauline.
her. Yeah.
Oh, I think I did know that, but obviously didn't care and forgot about it. But yeah, I'm always like, oh yeah, they just need more characters in Mario Golf. Pauline's a golfer.
Yeah, no, she's the original girl. It was not Peach.
Damn. I'm gonna play as Pauline more often. She needs some love. What does Peach do? Just sit around? Peach has a kingdom. That's what it is.
Yeah, Pauline's
Mario.
got New Dunk City. But
That's so funny.
weird lore
Well,
implications.
it is, yeah, some weird prequel thing. Can you imagine Nintendo starts doing stuff like that? Everything's tied together.
Yeah, this is just the right amount of weird IP idea I think they needed for this. Where, hey, we're not sticking to the usual suspects, which a lot of us wanted. We did our predictions last week. Zelda, which we got in some way, Animal Crossing, Splatoon, like a lot of that stuff's not here. But it opens the door for 2026 because everything that was announced is a this year thing. Like they did their first year slate, which kudos. So yeah,
And
2026.
they don't have anything holiday.
Yeah.
Yes, they do, or no, they don't.
They do. They got the next title, and Kirby Air Riders was given a 2025 release date.
Oh. Yeah, but nothing's set for holiday. But like, I guess where I'm going with that is like, is Air Riders a big tentpole for a holiday release for Nintendo? Because Mario Kart and Donkey Kong are already out.
I think they can make. I think you can make a case for it with GameCube.
I'm down. I love Air Ride on the GameCube, so I don't think it has that. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. With GameCube coming to NSO, which we didn't mention yet, drop Air Riders a little before and drop Air Ride October. I don't know. I feel if they did have something big for the holiday, it should have been here. If even just a teaser trailer like that of Holiday 2025, don't have to go in depth. But with Air Ride and Pokemon, I feel that's gonna be their holiday for the first year because it's gonna be more focused.
That is a good one.
Getting more focused on getting the actual hardware out, and then 2026 do a big spring thing or save 3D Mario for next holiday. I think.
That makes sense.
Air Ride
I can see that
was announced as well. Just dropped that, but
Air Riders.
I'm curious that I did not. GameCube is one of the only consoles I have not had, so I missed out on everything.
That's like that's the first console I had.
So you're down for Air Riders in 2025?
Dude, Kirby was falling. I was like, this is an Air Riders sequel. I clocked it right away. Because anytime I see Kirby, I'm like, it's Air Riders because that is Kirby for me. I played the shit out of Air Riders. Meta Knight, all that stuff on the little Darkwing. So cool. I loved Air Riders. I was a kid. I haven't played it since then. But yeah, no, this is out of all these games, I'm looking at Air Riders. I'm like, that's crazy that Air Riders is the one that I'm like, man, I want to switch to sooner than later because I want to play Air Riders. I want to play Air Ride. Where's my GameCube, you know? But yeah, I think it's awesome that Sakurai, the director of Smash Bros, he apparently loves his little Kirby. So that seemed to be a big deal when they just put director pause. I was like, boom, all right, that's someone. It means something. But I think that being that director, it could also lend to it being one of the bigger holiday games because that name is attached to it and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I just wonder what this is. If Mario Kart's coming out this year, it's not just going to be Kirby Mario Kart, right? It'll be interesting to see what Air Riders is, especially as a sequel to a game that came out so long ago. Yeah. And the other games he directs is Smash Bros, which is not like Air Riders. So fascinating, but I'm so down for this. This is the unexpected, obviously, one that surprised a lot of people. Surprised me, and it's my favorite thing out of this direct.
Nice. I didn't have any history when I was watching this. I watched it again later that evening, with Hannah, and when the GameCube stuff was announced, she's like, "Oh, that's awesome! I used to play the shit out of Air Ride back then." And I'm like, "Oh, did you like Air Ride? Did you really like Air Ride?" But didn't say anything else, obviously. It's like, that was a fun little pop, but yeah, that was my first thing too. I was like, Air Riders the same year as Mario Kart after the fact. I'm like, that's a weird decision unless they're doing a way over the top overhaul of what Air Rider was. But this was the one we got the least amount of information on, so that is a wait and see thing till presumably holiday.
Yeah, even on their website, it's just the trailer, so there's no like page for learning more or whatnot.
Speaking of winter, we did get one more from Nintendo partnership. New Hyrule Warriors game was announced. So we did get some sort of Zelda in there. Age of Imprisonment. Set in the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom world. It is a prequel to pretty much everything hundreds of years in the past. So I don't know how these games do. I'm a sucker for Dynasty Warriors. Like I play the crap out of those games. I haven't played any of these spin-off ones. They've done Hyrule Warriors. They did the Persona one. So I'm curious to see how this does. I feel first year it'll be fine because people are just gonna want the newest thing on their new console, no matter what it is. So if it's your thing,
Yeah.
it'll be out in winter.
I have the first one. I haven't beat it though. It's my first Dynasty Warriors ever. I didn't know what that was. One time. As soon as it came, it was like, oh, that makes sense. You did the same thing after Breath of the Wild. You're doing these, and it was a prequel as well. So, hey, follow the template. Sure, whatever. I expect a Zelda thing in 2 years now for the next big mainline, given this. Yeah, a nice little kind of adding to. It fills out the catalog. There we go. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, little supplemental title.
Yeah.
And then the last thing from the showcase I felt needs mentioned was something that at first I was kind of over and done with, but after thinking about it, it's something that was desperately needed. Third-party support, left and right, from almost everybody. Elden Ring, first thing shown off, to no one's surprised. Curious to see what that is. They have Tarnished Edition on it, so do you think is it just base Elden Ring with the fun name, or is it going to be a sectioned off thing, or is there going to be stuff removed or a smaller experience? I don't know. The having the subtitle on it kind of threw me off. Like, what does that mean, or is it just to tell you it's the Switch edition?
I think when you play on PlayStation 4 and Xbox or PlayStation, Xbox, whatever one, Elden Ring is Elden Ring. But on the Switch, it will run differently. It will be a little different. It will look different. And I think that's why these consoles do have different editions of stuff, especially the Switch. So I think it is like its own, it is a different game from a building point. Like they had to get this to run on this system. It's not that. So I think it will have lower textures and such to maintain a consistent frame rate for people who want that and whatnot.
Fair
enough. I bet it
enough.
loads things differently. Yeah, it's. I don't think for games that are big AAA games coming to Switch 2, if they have a slightly different, I don't think that's anything crazy. I think that's just a way to sell it as well. But it is different because we had to do different things and we need to sell it. So we're going to call it something special.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think I think the people who worry about that are in the know and come to expect that kind of now. Like, if you're getting the Switch version of a third-party thing, it's not going to be the optimal type thing, but it's there for the convenience, it's there for the handheld, it's there for stuff like that. So I think people are conditioned to that now after our time with Switch 1.
Yeah. But it also could just be like a Game of the Year edition. So it is like the same thing.
Yeah, it could be.
And again, just marketing too. But yeah, there's a ton of games coming outside of Elden Ring too. I mean, Hades 2,
can't wait.
Fiction, which we just finished. Borderlands 4, not even out yet, but that is a brand new game going to be dropping onto Switch. Cyberpunk, which also has the tagline Ultimate Edition, which that one makes it seem like we call something Ultimate Edition. I feel like you're going to have like the DLC and everything a part of it, which maybe that's all it is. Maybe this Tarnished Edition is also whatever the expansion was, Shadow of the Erdtree. Like it could be that because the Switch does 4K 60, right? We gotta stop assuming this thing ain't powerful enough because it is. Now, I wish we would have bet on this, but I'm glad we didn't because you would have won money. Final Fantasy VII Remake on Switch before any Xbox announcement.
Yeah, what? Wild. Another thing,
Expected it. Like, not surprised it's on there and it's there, but like, damn, you really, that's crazy. Like, that deal was really, you cannot put it on Xbox consoles, not anywhere else.
yeah. Another thing I was really surprised by, it wasn't anything worth showing, but I think this is like the first, it may be the first, if not second time we've got confirmation of um IO Interactive's 007 project will be coming to
Yeah.
Switch too. Which I was trying to think of another time it was shown outside of rumors or hey, we're doing this type thing, but we got his
No, I think
actual.
it's been, yeah, like, it's just been, hey, we're doing it. Oh, cool. And now, yeah, we're at Switch, which
Yeah.
again makes sense if you're the company, right? If you're a developer and you're like, we get to at least say we're coming to this console. Yeah. I mean, everyone's now more excited about this 007 project, not because it's on Switch, but there's a 007 project going on made by makers of Hitman. What?
And the big one, mentioned it earlier, Bloodborne 2, Kyle.
I was like, what's the big? We already said the big ones.
From Software closed off the third party section. They book end capped this presentation with Elder Ring and then the new project, the Duskbloods. PvPvE Souls like game, which sounds a lot like Elden Ring Night Rain, just with vampires, right? Everything I've
It
seen.
sounds like yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. I've now since seen a lot of people's reactions being posted, of course, of them freaking out that it is Bloodborne and then they're disappointed. Well, it's very entertaining. But the Dustbloods, yeah, it's awesome. Wow, a Switch exclusive from software game. Holy shit. And then, oh, the PvPvE. Okay. That sounds like you couldn't get Night Rain on Switch 2 and Nintendo said, please give us something. And they said, we'll just make you a Switch Night Rain. Well, you're going to pay us for an original game? Nintendo says, yeah, please. And they do it. They couldn't get Night Rain to run on everything else or on Switch with everything else. So they just make their own, which is cool. I think, go do what you want. It's not a bad thing, but it definitely, the fact that it's a PvPvE type game, I'm less into it. Mostly because of what type of game that is. And then on the Switch, I don't know. That seems weird to be playing a multi. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like I want to play that, right? It seems like that's just not for me, right? Except this guy with a jetpack flying around because that's
Yeah, I
pretty
love
cool.
him. Love him.
Yeah, I love, obviously, it's cool world, but when you start breaking down and getting into granulars, it's like, all right, I'm less excited for this, especially when I'm already getting something similar. It's hard to say, of course, but like in the same vein, at least. Vampire's funny. As Night Rain, whatever.
Yeah, Duskbloods for me, again, not a Souls guy, but like I said with the third party stuff in general, it was something they needed. It's something they needed to showcase to people. And this being an online thing, I feel is needed the same way of, hey, we're serious about online stuff now. Yeah, we had game chat earlier in the show. Obviously, we know Call of Duty's coming to this next year, maybe this year. Doubt it. But if you're gonna have something as hardcore of a fan base as a FromSoft exclusive on your platform, to me, that for them, they're saying that they have a revamped system. They're solid in what their online infrastructure is now. They're ready for you to take this seriously as an online platform, which I hope. That was the biggest thing I wanted last year or last week, right? Like,
Yeah.
make it a more viable option to use, and having something like this as kind of a centerpiece for that speaks numbers, hopefully. And that'll be 2026. So I lied. We did get one next year game, but
Yeah. Yeah, that's still the ways. Yeah, and I wonder what the stuff like. I think Call of Duty could be this year, right? You started saying it's probably later and whatnot but why not, right? They've been developing it and they already know, and this deal has been coming. I think with Call of Duty though, is it Call of Duty and I'm playing on my Switch and I'm playing against you or playing with you on Xbox at the same time? Is that how is it going to be crossplay, or will they get a tarnished edition? Will they get a Switch edition at first, which will just be the Switch population to itself? Right? Will Warzone drop as a free-to-play title like it already is sooner than we think onto the Switch too? Because again, we're past hardware running it. All right. If it can be on the Series S, it's going to be able to run on the Switch too, right? I think that is a base, even a PS4, right? If it's running on PS4, Series S, X, whatever, right? Like it's going to be able to be ran on a Switch 2 with some work at the minimum. So why not Call of Duty? But again, what is this online stuff? The game chat being its own thing, proprietary within the Switch. I just don't think that's gonna be good for Call of Duty. And like, are they gonna have just Call of Duty's game chat in there? Will it have? And probably yes, but I'm waiting for now another direct as we kind of through this what they just showed us. What is that going to look like? What is the friends list? How does that actually behave and function? Will they actually tell us, or are they not? Because guess what? It's Nintendo. You guys know what it's going to be, and it's going to be a little rough. It's going to take a little more steps than you want. And at the end of the day, protect children and kids. I get it, but yeah, we didn't get that online stuff, so I just have more questions, and it does kind of hinder my excitement for a Dust Bloods thing. I'm not into that at all, especially when I got Night Rain. Post Switch Direct, yeah, it's just a lot of question marks, right? At least for me.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair, and it's with a lot of things, right? Like they did the
We haven't even
release.
talked about tariffs either.
That's next. We got the release date, right? And there's no price there. They dropped the price in a press release after the showcase was done. Like a lot of the information, pricing on games we mentioned, Mario Kart's 80, Donkey Kong 70, like a lot of the stuff they didn't tell us and just kind of dropped it on the back end for people to find later. And right now, we're getting another Mario Kart Direct on the 17th. And that's the only thing they have announced between then and now, which unless they do announce one then for stuff like that, hey, this is what our online's like now. We told you guys we upgraded the store and it's faster, but this is what we're doing differently. Like
and stuff like that just doesn't feel like Nintendo would take the time to do outside of a press release.
Where's the press
ultimately,
release?
who cares? Ultimately, who cares how good their online, what they did to the online? It's going to matter when I'm using it, right? So, and I think Nintendo, just like they didn't put the price in, that doesn't matter. We're not going to talk about the AI NVIDIA stuff. We're going to let them talk about that. So I expect they're going to say something, especially if Call of Duty is sooner than later. I really hope it's this year, just so we can see what that's like. So we don't have questions. But if PvPvE Dust Bloods is next year, maybe their online functionality and everything reworking isn't this year. Maybe that's an update too, because they're not ready for it. I don't know if any. But the thing is, Mario Kart's coming out this year. They have an online thing. Like, they're going to have to, right? Now we're getting lost in the weeds on this.
To cap it off,
we don't need to, because we don't even know if the Switch will release here.
Yeah, that's to cap it off for the discussion. As mentioned at the top of the show, release date was set for June 5th. Pre-orders were meant to go live on the 9th, this upcoming Wednesday. Websites had it up. Walmart was ready. GameStop was ready. Best Buy sent out emails. They were all ready. For a day or two later, the American government to bend the population over again with the wave of tariffs. And Nintendo promptly came out with a note that they are delaying the pre-orders of the Switch 2. In that release, they did say the June 5th release date is still set, but pre-orders are being delayed while they figure out market values and stuff like that. I'm personally on the more pessimistic side of this than most people are. And I've honestly gotten to the point, do they do delayed launch in the United States with the way things are going now? Delayed launches aren't that unheard of. We've had it with 360. Like, it's been a thing where, hey, Europe's coming 2 months later, Japan's 2-3 months earlier, whatever it be. We've done that.
We're in America, and that doesn't happen.
Yeah, doesn't happen
So
here.
People, that's mostly a joke, because yeah, it's probably going to happen. That makes a lot of sense for them too. Yeah, I mean, hey, look, a lot of people don't want politics in their games, but when we don't deal with it and don't talk about it and don't be normal and human about stuff, politics goes into everything no matter what you do. So it's here and we have to deal with it and add this to our conversation. We all knew it was coming, and it's very fascinating to see the steps of Nintendo's week. Hype, crazy, hours. Oh my gosh, what's going on? They're not telling us the price fully. We have to find it out after. People feel weird about that. Why are games so expensive? And now they're not. You can't even pre-order it next week. We don't know when. We like what a week for Nintendo. A lot of people have said this. We've already talked about it. Like they're the canary in the coal mine, the first out there. I mean, especially when we're talking about the video game industry. It's not the biggest thing out there. Dude, this is
But it
affecting all
is.
industries. But there's other industries that are being impacted to a degree
Yeah.
where they are possibly being eliminated forever, never coming back, or they physically do more and such. So video games are entertainment, haha, fun. Like not the biggest deal when we're talking about tariffs that are gonna up the price of literally every single thing. But that's what we're gonna talk about too. It's just crazy, right? It's just part of it, and I don't know what Nintendo will do. I don't know. Do you think this will lead to like decreased sales overall? Clearly, do you think Nintendo will do a big thing and delay bigger, or are we just along for the ride and there's nothing we can say other than talk in circles?
Well, that's where why I fell on the delay, because right now for me, if I was in their shoes, you either delay it and hope something radically changes, whatever that could be, or you double down on the internet hate that you've already gotten for the 450 price point because people are upset because the internet, and you double down on that and hey, this is now 550. We'll sell what we can. And
Yeah.
at that point, it's picking the lesser of two evils of what's going to do the most or the least damage long term, short term for your image. And at a point, it's crossed my mind too. I'm like, I don't want it to happen because obviously the industry is in a shithole. But does Nintendo just have a weird back and forth momentum? N64 did great to the GameCube, which flopped. Into the Wii, which did great to the Wii U that flopped. Into the Switch, which did amazing. Is the Switch 2 gonna flop? Not because of their decisions, but just because of the way the world is right now and have it be out of their hands. Which is wild to say,
Yeah.
but that's where we're
But
at.
hey, I mean, they're asking people. They're a family-based company. You can't argue that. And they're asking people to pay $80, $90 for games and $450. And again, it's not like they're sitting there going, "Hey, we're gonna get all their money." They are making something. It's probably a pretty decent price. I bet the profit isn't crazy where we're like, oh, it's like, oh, that makes sense, right? For each unit. But like games, it's like when you start adding all that together and you look around, it's like, oh man, this is not looking good. Like, how many families who have a Switch are going to be like, time to get the new one? Oh, it's just a Mario Kart? You have a Mario Kart, little Billy. Like, calm down. No, I know Timmy next door has the new one. You go play it when you're over there. I get he can be on screen and see his friends. You don't get to. We're poor.
Or
End scene. Yeah, it's just yeah, it's an interesting time for sure. Fascinating stuff. I think Nintendo, I mean, maybe they go up to bat and go head to head with a government and say, "Hey, we're just not going to release it in America until you make this affordable for us and your citizens." Bye. We'll see. But no matter what, this is not going to end here. There's nothing really we can say that makes it make sense. It's just something we get to deal with and react to. And I mean, we hope that this isn't the reason Nintendo has a lull again, right? That would just be one thing fascinating from their history that every console is up and down, and this is the reason why this one goes down, right? Take all that aside. I don't think the Switch 2 is something that will take the Switch 1, people who have it, and make them go, I need one, and everyone will go buy a new one. I don't think so. It's just this. And I think they know that, and I think it's just a simple, hey, this is a step. We're expecting everyone not to jump over right away because we already have Switches out there and that user base is big and the economy. So we're just going to get what we can get out of this. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's some people who are coming into the Switch 2 and with the hype, and without putting it into perspective, we're expecting it to be bigger, which with how big the Switch 1 is a near impossible task.
Yeah. And
So,
even that's all marketing too.
yeah.
Saying like the bigger thing, right? So you take all that away, like, can we justify and how much can we expect a normal everyday person working to go out and buy something? Like they are realistic about stuff. And I think that just maybe all ties together and how they showed stuff off, how they're doing stuff. They recognize this isn't going to be a shift in the whole industry like the Switch was, because that was revolutionary. And then the pandemic, like they don't have that and they can't bank on that. So I don't know. Maybe I'm leaning, maybe I'm taking this now saying it's almost intentional, almost knowing that things are going to get weird for them, that they're like, we'll just get the ship in the direction we think is the best. And it's time to sail ahead and we'll see what happens.
Oh, that'd be wild. I'd say don't let FOMO get to you with this console. Um, that's been my
It
favorite
already
thing.
has.
Yeah, that's been my favorite
I
thing
just want
is
to, I want to use, I want to play Metroid Dread with a Joy-Con in one hand and the mouse Joy-Con in another.
play it
That
next
shit
year.
looks so cool.
Play it
And it
next year.
works well, apparently. You said it wouldn't. I didn't think it would work like that. There's FPS games on that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people online that are influencers, media, whatever, who are no one's defending the price, but people are like, "I'll be okay waiting it out." I'm like, "Motherfucker, you're gonna get a review unit. Like, all of you are gonna get one of these for free anyways, so you can't speak on the average person. Like, be honest with us." "Oh, I'm okay waiting it out till things." No, you're gonna get one before anybody else does. Sit down.
Oh, I don't think I'll be able to buy one, so I'm gonna have to wait. Nintendo,
Mario Party being
Nintendo,
$80. Oh, can I have my review copy?
clip and send that out to my PR person at Nintendo. They'll see that. Thank you. No, I love shitting on people who are doing things. But yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, I think it's just a hey, there's having fun and being a part of the entertainment and leaning into the hype and being excited for stuff we enjoy and love, and then there's the reality of it that affects the things we love, and that's just unfortunate. We got to talk about that and deal with it, and that's going to affect the Switch too. But hey,
Yeah.
I'm glad I wasn't like money in the bank, ready to go. I'm pre-ordering this, and I'd be devastated. I'm already like, this is going to be a year or two before I even think about getting one, most likely.
Yeah, I said, like, originally I was like, "Yeah, 450 max I'll get," but I'm like, if that price goes up, I was talking to you before, my dryer just died, like, that's another like, fuck, I don't know anymore. Like, yeah, not playing cart for
Well,
a year is gonna suck, but, like,
I know you need a dryer, but the Switch 2 dock has a fan, and it could help
put it on the
dry
floor
your
next to a
clothes.
pile of wet clothes. Set it up
It's
the camera
working.
next to watch it to see when they're dry.
You're like, I made a right choice. You don't need a dryer with a Switch 2 fan.
God.
Yeah. Just a messy time. Unfortunate overall. A lot of unknowing, but there's still some really good things and cool shit coming on. And like the tech of the Switch 2, what they're doing, I really like. And especially thinking now, like for a kid, I have to worry about other things. I'm like, that's cool. I can see us playing Switch 2 and seeing each other on the screen, like with the camera stuff. Like, that's cool. I like that stuff is awesome. But unfortunately, the business stuff is business stuff and reality is around. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll see. If you're watching, let us know below. Are you getting a Switch 2? Planning on getting a Switch 2? What's your hype for going in? Uh let's end off with the marathon fast. We're at an hour 20 already. Holy crap. But
I
very
know.
short,
Yeah.
quick thing that you have some thoughts on. This week, social media pages for Marathon from Bungie started up again, or started up, not again, posting some sort of teasers, and multiple media have been out at Bungie. sup- up- I would guess
Yeah. A lot of
playing the
people.
game, playing the game. So expect more
Yeah. I know.
information on that this week.
I just saw Paris Lilly post. He was up there. So I'm like, that's nice. I saw a couple of reporters like Lucy James. Yeah. I was scrolling. I just saw a bunch of people. I'm like, oh, they got a lot of not just like I saw Destiny creators get invited up there. and reporters like Paul Tassi, who does a lot of Destiny reporting. He got invited but couldn't go. So, but it was beyond just Destiny and people. It went to reporters and such. But yeah, they're showing it off. Next week we should get something. I'm very intrigued with this art style. It's like I don't even know how to describe the art style of what they're doing, but they have the original soundtrack being like posted that you can like click links and get into and whatnot. So they're starting the slow rollout. I am very intrigued to what I'm going to see, but every person who went and has said something that is not breaking NDA, they seem really hype about it. They seem stoked about it. It seems like it is good, fun, and if you play Destiny, there's a reason to keep going back and playing Destiny is because the gunplay and the abilities and everything is so tight and they work together. So if Marathon can do that and make it a tactical shooter, which is the angle, like it should be cool. And I'm excited to see what it is. I hope Bungie can do something well. You know, I hope they can land on their feet after all the turmoil and the question marks around Destiny right now and whatnot. It'll be fascinating Marathon. Fascinating if they also can tell us a little bit about Destiny, because we're supposed to be getting something in months for Destiny, like 2-3 months, but they're completely silent. So I don't expect it, but maybe Bungie will do a big Bungie thing as opposed to just strictly Marathon. Yeah, so be on the lookout for that next week. Should be coming. I'm hoping it's good.
Yeah, I would hope.
Last thing.
Oh.
Someone said Bungie released Halo under Microsoft, Destiny under Activision, Marathon under Sony. Just crazy. Just interesting.
Yeah. I'm
Next
curious.
One, Nintendo.
God, what it actually is, because I was trying to think, like, when people were posting they were going up to see it before, like, as the teaser started, I'm like, I can't remember the last time I've seen that, because usually it's super secretive. You're flying out here, everything drops on one day together.
Yeah.
From main accounts, influencers across the board. For them to be doing this already, I'm like, they're cooking.
And I'll argue they've been doing it for a while. Obviously, with a smaller group and more Destiny specific creators, or just like extraction shooter, online competitive streamers and whatnot. Like they did already get people up there once or twice. So it is something that they do. They're working on this game to make it tight. It's an extraction shooter. I know I said like a tactical thing, thinking in my head more Valorant, but it is like an extraction type shooter. So Bungie's world building and gameplays are always tight and fun. That's all I'm hoping for. The art style, at the very least, the art direction is inspired. They're doing something that I haven't seen in games too much or at all. Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited.
We'll cover that next week. But for now, this has been 63 episodes of the Download Queue. Coming at you each and every week. I'm not going to say Sunday. Each and every week, right here at twitch.tv/BadlandsBacklogs. We'll be covering Marathon news next week, as well as first impressions for South of Midnight, which people have been playing early already, obviously with the pre-order bonus, and seem to be enjoying it for what it is. It's, for the most part, positive. Seen some mixed stuff, so I'm happy to jump in myself and see what I feel, especially after so recently playing Compulsion's first game last year. Kind of bookmarking that and coming back now to their newer title, seeing what changes have been done. So you can expect that from us here next week, Sunday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard. Till then, happy gaming. Be good to each other. Have fun.